There we go. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. It's such a pleasure to be here once again. Welcome. Thank you so much, Kevin, Justin, Angelina. So good to see you. RR2, Grace, love. Peace and greetings, family. Welcome, guys. Sun, Lazuli, Grace, Justin, Michael. Can you hear me now? Because I unmuted myself, so I think that helps. Hi, IT guys. So great to see you. All right, my love. So today we are doing day 7. Didn't this week go by so quickly? Hi, Jason, Christine. So good to see you, lovies. Wow. So let's get started with today. Today we have an awesome conversation about breath. We're going to talk about the power of breathing in the process of alchemical transmutation, why it plays such an incredible role in the process of breathing. So I prepared a little overview of that. But before we get started, I want to answer some of the questions that I missed from yesterday. There were some people that were asking questions that I didn't get to. So let's jump into those. Does anybody have questions that they want to start off with today? Let me just find where those questions are here. Where was it that we had that question? I forget where it was. If you are in the chat and you said that you were going to leave me a message or a question, ask me now. Okay, let's see. Here's a question. I am trying to heal a nervous system disorder, autonomic dysfunction that was brought about by a certain virus. I've been experiencing this since March 2020. I understand what you're saying and I've been doing the work. The chain is so slow and I get discouraged. All right, so how can we work with our autonomous nervous system? Now, depending on what it's triggered from, and actually it doesn't really matter that much unless it's completely affecting the entire neurological system that connects with the nervous system. Breath, actually, today's course would be very productive for you in learning some techniques to help regulate that nervous system. Okay, so let's see if they can work with you. And if you need more assistance, let me know. Maybe we can work privately on that as well. Now, somebody had another question. Let me come over here. I still don't know how to heal. I have spots on my left side. I know what the reason is based on what you said, but what is the cure? So we talked yesterday about the removing of blockages, both etheric and physical, from the body. So this is a really powerful way that we can remove them. And here is AR. He says, apologies if I wrote too much earlier, come back to delete it, but I think it's gone. Okay, the AR perspective. If you're here, ask your question. I didn't see your question actually being posted. So let's go ahead and do that. Question, I'm using GPAC more and more and find it incredibly centering and empowering. My question is, when we are having prolonged interactions with others out in the world, should we be constantly running our energy, clearing our fields, in addition to grounding and aura awareness? Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. That question is from Sioban. So Sioban, are you here today? Well, thank you so much for this amazing question. And it's really important that we address it because we want to understand, at what point do we use GPAC? Now, GPAC is a tool to embody presence. And it's very complete because in GPAC, we understand how to ground, we understand owning our space, alignment, and co-creation. So these are the 4 areas which address the 3 layers of the multidimensional body to assist you in mastering and cultivating presence and even exchanges with your surroundings. So it's all about coming fully in the present moment, and through the present moment, training your intuition so that your experiences with others and with people, places, and things around you becomes a very conscious choice of how you are exchanging. This is really what it comes down to. Running energy is the technique of learning how to run energy through the body, which is a very powerful meditation technique that utilizes earth, life force energy, and cosmic energy. We have both of these energies in our body. So when we utilize and cultivate these energies and run them through the body, it allows us to quickly dissolve the very dense attachments that we have to the three-dimensional plane. That's the whole point, the three, the matrix, whatever is this holographic experience and everything that we're interacting with. The idea is to neutralize those cords in order to call back your life force consciously. The idea is wherever your attention is, that's where your energy and your life force is directed. So are you conscious of where your life force is going? Are you conscious of where your attention is? When we're in a dormant unconscious state, we don't have any say in where our attention is going because the body is on auto drive. And because it's usually being manipulated by the senses, right? What's feeding the senses, whether it's the lower chakras, the sexual energy, it plays on the need for affection or love, plays on the need for manipulation, of feeling safe or fearful. And those are usually the root programs that are repeated by unconscious body state. When we move out of that, we're no longer in that survival ranges of experience, and we come into a state of co-creation. So the point is to become aware of our points of stagnation and where we're holding on to these cords in order to begin to become sovereign of this physical body and of your everyday experience, rather than being socially engineered, manipulated, and genetically modified through the things that we're eating, feeling, and doing. Okay, so it's a completely very deep level of awareness that we are trying to work in. Kevin Goer says, wow, this time I had a wild ride. At some point in the meditation, I went into an astral space and witnessed a dog in distress and then a monkey wreaking havoc on his environment. After I came out of it, I was alert and awake for a couple of hours. When I finally fell asleep, I had a very disturbing dream. I'm wondering if this is some kind of purge of past life memories, as you mentioned. So let's talk really briefly about what past life memories are. Past life memories are essentially aspects of ourselves that we are living and interacting with simultaneously. And depending on how our vibrational frequency is, which means how much of our intuitive abilities and higher faculties, how much we access the higher dimensional planes, seventh, eighth, nine-dimensional plane, where we start tuning in to the collective DNA of the Akashic records that allows us to access ancestral information, we begin to access past lives through that field, through the Akashic record. Because in the Akashic records is everything that we have been, all the manifestations, iterations of ourselves through our own family lineage and any other interconnection of the organisms that we share with on the planet Earth. And all of that is encoded in your genetic data. So as you activate your intuitive ability, you have the ability of reading more beyond the physical body, which what you read in the physical body without intuition is usually cycling repetitive trauma. You're very aware of them. You might not know how to break them, but you have a strong access to that database. And more likely than not, you're repeating those patterns. When you start breaking away from the dormant state, you begin to activate your higher faculties that allows you to look into the non-physical aspect of yourself. And this gives you a broader perspective and a multidimensional overview that now you understand that these repetitive programs are interconnected to a greater network that is involving the entire world in designing and formulating our perspectives of what reality is. So that is the beginning of breaking the ties and the reincarnation into the cycles of karma or the reincarnation cycle. And it's at this point where you can actually begin to break those patterns by understanding your role in them. So past lives, simultaneous lives, are accessing the deeper repetitives. So your grandmother, your great grandmother, your grandfather, going down those generations and looking at our role, because we've incarnated in our own ancestral lineage many times, as different, playing different roles in different parts of the world based on what we needed to evolve as a collective in these timelines. And we have access to all of those memories through our DNA and through the work that we're doing. Awesome. So let's go here in the chat for today. Hello, Laoni Gayoli, RR2, Brian Cantu, Darina. I'm behind on those, but will do my best. Thank you for joining us. Samantha, your meditations are really strong. I always sleep between and wake up after an hour ago. Awesome. Please write your book so I can absorb this wisdom more. Yes, I am working on that, and we should have it by the summer. This time it's no joking around. Mila Jo says, here, everyone. Thank you for being here. Hi, Kevin. Veronica Sandoval. Hi, Geraldine. Do you have an upload meditation that we can use every night? Yes, I do. And it's called, I believe it's called Breaking Karmic Contracts on my YouTube. So if you can find that video on my YouTube, that is the one that you want to do every day. You want to break karmic contracts daily. Okay. As far as ancestral trauma and patterns goes, have you heard of family constellations? What do you think about this modality of healing? Yes, I think it's a very interesting modality, but when I learned about family constellations, it's basically what I was doing in my own meditation work. Without needing to have people playing roles of any kind, you can access that same information in your subconscious mind through your own behavioral patterns. So you don't really even need to go out to do that whole constellation. You can access that information, and actually even more information, because you can intuit as you develop your psychic abilities, each and every one of you. You can intuit the programs that have been inherited through generations. When I was doing this work, I discovered unbelievable things about my family that I never knew were possibly true. But some of them were very difficult to look at. Some of them were very deeply rooted traumas in our family lineage, that I think some of even my own family members don't realize how it affected their perspective and the way that they behave. So, seeing that, those deep truths really allow you to see the people in your family in a different light, more of understanding the cause and effect of how these things lead people to choose their life partners, their choices, the way that they parent. All of that is a result of cause and effect. And it's a powerful way of learning how to embody a broader perspective, unity consciousness, and compassion. And when you start tuning into those runways of energy and information, you begin to notice how these inherited belief systems have affected generations of our families and humanity as a whole. And you begin to understand the matrix, in other words, the structure of this hologram, and the roles that all of these systems play in creating our societies, the financial institutions, economies, education, the food industries, pharmaceutical, all of these important parts that play a role in the engineering of society are designed in a very specific way. And so when you begin to see how those are inherited through the generations, you can kind of become aware of how you begin to break away from them. And breaking away really brings us to a true, authentic expression of the human that is not affected by the engineers or taking on any false concepts of reality. So it can be really liberating, really powerful, really healing to do that. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if constellations works for you, awesome. But also do it in your meditation, because you can only get so far with a constellation, right? You can go infinitely in your meditation. I love you, infinite being. Love you, Veronica. Thank you for being here. Anders, great to see you. Pono says fighting demons for years because of family karma. Now, I will say something that once you begin to understand the repetition of these programs that have been coming down your family lineages, it really shouldn't take too much to break them, because when you get to the root of them without getting stuck on the stories and without getting distracted by the emotional sensations, because remember, in this healing work, we have to not get stuck in the emotional sense. It's very easy to sit there, watch a traumatic memory, and just get lost in the sorrow, pain, rejection, the lack of acceptance. It's because we're already not accepting it. That's why it's coming up for us, and that's why we're repeating it. So we need to remember that the acceptance and the process of acceptance is the key to liberation of karmic cycles. And the process of learning how to accept is the key formula that you require in order to freeing yourself and embodying neutrality eventually. You will embody neutralities on the other side of that. So that neutral observation of these events and stories that make up who we are, who we think we are, actually, uh, it's just two things. Everyone in this history, ourselves included, is looking to be loved, accepted, validated. That's all any human at the most primal core is desiring. And that's such a beautiful expression, because love is life, it's creation, it's manifestation. We experience that desire to create and to manifest as physically, mathematically, geometrically embedded within our DNA code. And as a whole, the human soul that is now transcending in through the three-dimensional plane is specifically to experience the transmutation of all the suffering into the highest neutrality. And the highest neutrality is the unity consciousness. When we reach that neutrality, we become one. So the journey of the human, in whatever the story of your life is, to experience separation and to go from separation into unity. That's the alchemical process, actually. Okay. And the incredible thing about that journey is that it actually seems complicated, but it's actually that simple. It's actually that simple. There is such beauty in that simplicity. If you hold yourself to that simplicity, it'll make your healing process move quickly. Therefore, we don't have to be continuously fighting demons, because we understand the root. And so it cuts all the fluff of suffering, of stories, of attachments. And you'll realize that most of the reason why we're stuck is because we're addicted to feeling that it's all we know. We don't know the other side. So the quicker we get to that root, the quicker you can develop the other side, which is unconditional love, which is teaching yourself how to embody unity. So that is the thing. Is unity consciousness a collective consciousness of humanity and beyond? Yes. So we essentially are all and nothing simultaneously. Okay. So within your DNA, just the tiny DNA that runs the tiny aspect of your DNA that is writing your physical vessel is just a small percentage of all that you are. You are and have been every other organism in this earth plane. You have been and you are. And you are also, through your higher realms of yourself, your higher bodies, as one right now in this moment, you have access to all dimensional layers as far as you want to go, as far as you're willing to go, by dissolving your perceptions of separation. So it's really just up to us how we travel and how we're willing to embody unity consciousness. Yes, that's right, Christine. We have to feel the emotions completely in order to not stay. That's right. It's observing the emotions is different than getting stuck in the feeling sensation body. Yeah, that's right. Bob says demons are lonely. Demons are not lonely. There are as many demons as there are light beings in this universe. The perspective of being separate is a choice. So the demon can always become an angel if it wants to become that. Remember that that is completely an option and an individual sovereign choice of experience. If you want to experience being a demon, experience being a demon, and see how long you wish to experience that. Yeah. So how can we heal subconscious repetitive patterns in our life? So first key is to become aware of the pattern, and to become aware of the pattern means that you're observing your everyday triggers, because it's in your everyday triggers that you're going to discover patterns, and the patterns led way into information about your subconscious belief systems. Okay, so the triggers that are triggering you will shed light on the parts of you that haven't been integrated, the parts of you that have been rejected, suppressed, ignored, not wanting to be touched or dealt with. Okay, so take the time to address the trigger, get to that root cause, explore, experience, understand that. And that way you'll be able to integrate as a result. I can't thank you enough, Geraldine, for what you bring to all of us. Thank you so much, IT guy. It's such an honor. Thank you guys. All right, my loves. So let's start today's conversation. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the power of breath. It's really important that we understand uh, the key physical elements and triggers into a body that is empowered. Embodying empowerment is something that not many of us are familiar with, because we have been trained through our life experiences and through the natural experience of separation at birth, to not exactly be completely connected to. So the breath techniques that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share several different techniques throughout this challenge. Today, I want to teach you a pranayama exercise that involves working with the Ida and Pingala. The Ida and Pingala are the two main runways in the center core of the body that transfer life force through the center meridian of the body. And this is one of the most powerful breaths that my mother taught me at a very early age, that really, really changed my life and my relationship with my body and with how I was experiencing empowerment. Now, we talked about the lower dantian, and we're going to get to the middle dantian and the higher dantian as we move through the month. But during this first section, we're talking about the lower, all of the ways to cultivate the lower. Okay. One of the ways to cultivate the lower dantian is by, we talked yesterday about muscles, muscle memory, the emotions that store within the muscles. Now, the physical body is a vessel. It is a vessel that, when the physical body is utilized correctly, and it's uh, it's basically embodied and training its highest optimum functioning state. How does it reach its highest functioning state? It reaches the highest functioning state through the cultivation of mind, body, and soul. Okay? Body, the physical body, means healthy body. Healthy body. We're eating correctly in order to nourish the body. And when we nourish the body, we are being aware of that we are eating the rainbow, which means all of the vibrational frequency, every color food, different color foods hold within it vibrational frequency. So when we eat rainbow foods, it nourishes those parts of the body. If you gravitate towards a certain color food throughout your day, you're basically looking at the part of your body that is most out of balance, your chakra that's most out of balance. Okay, so pay attention to the color of foods that you were gravitating towards. The body has a very interesting intelligence. And make sure to maintain variety and balance to nourish all its light that you are bringing into your body. Now, the second layer of that is the muscle system, which we talked about yesterday, because the muscle system also creates an incredible network of holding dense, more powerful ranges of life force through the body. Okay, so this is really important. When we're older and we don't have toned muscles in the body, a lot of times the entire body goes out of balance. Okay, and the physical body weakens its immune system and also its ability to hold higher bandwidths of light, higher frequency. The more fit the body is, it becomes a vessel and a conduit of life force, because it's an intelligent, self-organizing system that creates an environment for higher bands of life force. So one of the centers that we want to cultivate is the dantian. This lower dantian is what we're talking about today. And we do so by cultivating muscles. Okay, so it's really important to work out and to train the muscles, to tone our muscles in these areas. And you're going to want to do that as you meditate and connect with your body more, as we live a more life connected to nature. We automatically, the body changes and shifts into alignment with its highest operational state. So breathing is one of the powerful ways to begin to tone these parts of the body, cultivating energy and harnessing energy in the solar plexus allows you to help inhale and exhale by toning the solar plexus muscles and cultivation of life force in the solar plexus. So let's take a look at some of these benefits of these different pranayama breathing exercises. It improves the autonomic functions. It alleviates asthma or breathing symptoms. It reduces oxidative stress symptoms in the body, okay, which is going to help you with aging and illnesses. Improves your perception, completely shifts your perception because brain patterns change, vibrational frequency pattern changes. Increases your mental strength because it brings you into a state of alpha, in a self-regulating system where you can access higher function of your own brain. Okay, gives you a strong willpower. This is the thing that we really want to pay attention. Gives you higher willpower, because remember, we learned in the lower dantian is the seat of willpower of the human. Whether the human feels empowered or not is the integration and cultivation of the lower three chakras. So breathing deeply and practicing that breathing helps regulate those nervous systems. It increases your capacity of having sound judgment. So I'm giving you this is the 7th tool that you're learning here with me, how to bring yourself into a place of discernment, empowered discernment, intuition, grounding, aligning, co-creating, being mindful of your body, meditation, food, health, awareness, breathing. Okay, so I've given you so many tools. Helps in living a long and healthy life. Okay, right? Because when we embody these breathing techniques, we allow ourselves to focus on healing the body. So let's talk about the comparative study of different pranayamas. I really love this study because it goes into different kinds. Okay, the silent points, anuloma viloma, the nadi shodhana, which is a very powerful breathing, which I'm going to share with you today. Okay, alternating the nostrils, breathing and alternating nostril breaths with retention. This is my favorite breathing exercise. And your body will want to do the breathing exercise that it needs the most. Okay, so physiologically, how do we do it? We focus on the right nostril breath, activating the left brain hemisphere. Okay, it's neutral terminations in the nostril allow us to activate the left brain nostril, and vice versa. When we close and open the left nostril, it activates the right brain. So this allows you to harmonate this nadi system, which we're going to talk about. It's a network. I talked yesterday about the etheric nervous system. Well, in Hindu practices and yogic practices, it's called the nadis, which are basically the complex network of vortice centers of energy that are all around our body that make up the whole network. They are the smaller vortices, chakras in the body. And so they stimulate this life force that moves through the body. Okay. The immediate effects of this exercise are it calms the mind. It balances airflow between nostrils because sometimes we have our nostrils are clogged up. We don't realize the effect that that has, but it contributes to our going into dormant state, into hypnotic states when we don't have proper circulation, blood circulation, or oxygenation in the body. It blocks the ability to move life force through the body. And the benefits, of course, are many, but the most important and quicker ones that we access are the stress relief enhances synergy between two hemispheres. So in the alchemical process, we talked about the integration of the dualistic aspects of ourselves. This is what we are learning how to integrate within us, the hemispheres of the body. We talked about how the body splits into different planes, right? And depending on where we store illness is where the stagnation is. So as you breathe, you are accessing the different planes of the body, creating balance between the hemispheres, up, down, right, left, front and back, feminine, masculine, in all directions of your body begin to flow. And this allows you to anchor more life force, source, higher frequencies into the body. Okay. So let's talk about the contraindications: cold, flu, or fevers. In case of depression, avoid retention. So there's certain ways that we need to learn how to move this through the body. Okay. So there's many other ones that you can take a picture of. I'm not going to go through the whole list here because we can spend hours on this, and we're going to learn these other breathing techniques throughout our challenge. You can screenshot this or you can find this in your course materials on my website after tonight's, okay? So you can learn those there. So let's talk about how we're going to do our pranayama today, about the inhaling from one nostril, exhaling from another. Yeah, there's many other breathing techniques as well that are not included on that list. There's many, so those are just some. How we move oxygen through the body. This is what I want you to kind of pay attention to. We are irrigating, like the irrigation system of water, right? We irrigation systems are designed to make sure that every plant is getting water, every plant is being nourished and fed. Imagine that we have an irrigation system within the body, and the irrigation is made up of your pure life force, which is your bloodstream, and also how oxygen is moving through that bloodstream into the different parts of the body. Now, what moves the oxygen and brings life and attention, awareness to the parts of the body is your intention. So in this practice, this is why the mind body connection is important. We have to have the intention of interconnecting with every part of the body. And we are going to utilize the entire body for breathing, not just the nostrils. That being said, this picture is really, sorry, not the best quality. Sorry about that. But it's the only one that I found that has a really great diagram here to show us how our lower abdomen muscles will be expanding and contracting. Remember that we are made up of expanding and contractive energy and life force. So however we are exchanging with the universe, if you're not breathing, you don't even remember that you're breathing and you're stagnant, your vortex isn't moving, your body is in dormant state, you're in hypnosis, you're very easily suggestible, programmable, and manageable and manipulative. Easy to manipulate. Okay. So that's the side effect of not breathing consciously. The opposite of that is to be constantly aware of your breath and noticing how we are breathing In through the nose, out through the mouth. Right, Pono, exactly. You're always saying what I'm going to say. Good job. Okay, so we want to breathe in and out through the nose. There are some techniques which we use our mouth for breathing, but try not to breathe in through the mouth, always through the nose. Okay, and that's because we have an intelligence filtration system built into the body to allow us to filter oxygen into the body as we need. Okay. So when we do this exercise, what are we doing? We're activating the center meridian line of the body, in which allows us to activate and work with the purification of all of these main organs in the center, the kidneys, and all of these center points that you can research on our charts later on. You can take your time. But when you breathe, if you go to this last image here of all these main energy centers in the body, they become active, and it helps us flush out trauma storage in the body. Okay, so the movement of life force through the body in proper movement begins to naturally create the braiding that begins to mimic proper braiding within our DNA. Now, we are going to utilize these two breathing channels to begin to activate the nervous and neurological system in the body that allows for higher function. While Pingala is associated with the energy of the sun, it represents the masculine aspect of our personality and is often shown as red. It controls the sympathetic nervous system and stimulates activities and planning of body and mind. Pingala Nadi is responsible for the logical, rational, and analytical intellect. Pingala is also the yang element in Chinese philosophy. The Ida Nadi channels energy through the left nostril. Pingala Nadi channels through the right nostril. The Ida is channeled via the left nostril and Pingala through the right nostril. Again, when Pingala is overused due to the hustle and bustle of city life, we can have difficulty sleeping, concentrating, or we can become anxious, irritable, and implosive. So I want you to notice which one of your nostrils, if any, get stuffy throughout your day. Okay, and this might not even be something that you're normally aware of, but when I was on my journey and I noticed this, it also helped me understand what side, my feminine and masculine, was also being projected into my everyday experience. Remember, the body is full of constant communication. We just need to learn how to translate the language that the body is speaking to you. So the Ida and Pingala start at the end of the left end to the right of the Shushama, respectively, moving in spirals like a DNA helix, crossing at each chakra or energy portal. Anahata Menon, shamanic healer and mystic at the Anahata Foundation, explained it like this: it is the interaction between these two distinct yet complementary energy channels that controls our mental processes, institutions, intuition, and the activity that takes place between the left and right hemisphere of our brain. The sacred union between the male, solar or day, or and female, lunar and night. Remember, the female connects with lunar and light because it's the subconscious mind. The masculine, the solar, which is the conscious and interactive in our everyday activity. So these are the aspects of our spiritual nature, forms the basis of our most evolutionary esoteric path. I really love that, right? So as you see it, the cultivation and working with these runways of life force in the body bring balance to the overall network of energies that we are connecting to. This is an image of all the nadis that were mapped out by these yogic practices. Okay. And I'm not going to get too much into this because we're going to get into it later when we talk about the hologram of the body. But within these networks of energy is stored the information that we've been talking about. What we are doing essentially when we are breathing is we are unifying through the center meridian line of the body, which is the source code, the cord that connects us to source through our breath, through embodiment of ebb and flow of life force through the body. We become familiar with the cycles of life and death. We train our body to be okay with receiving and giving, with absorbing and releasing. Okay, this is important because we need to program in our mind that everything is balanced exchanges, and we have to be mindful of how we're choosing our life experiences and everything that we're doing so that it's always this kind of exchange. What we're doing is we're creating this unified path within the body to allow source to irrigate this body fully. As you can see, all rainbow colors of the body come into balance into that white light. You see, it's the unification. This is the embodiment of the alchemical transmutation through the physical body that we are doing. Okay, and the focus of this is that we are uniting earth and heaven and earth essentially within the body. The nadis are all of these points that I described to you in other lectures, is what makes up this field, the morphogenetic field from which form becomes matter. And it's within that field that we begin to run life force through the body in a way that is fluid and co-creative. This is the key to co-creation, okay? So let's begin the exercise, okay? We're gonna go ahead and sit up straight. You're gonna cross your legs. Then we're going to take a nice deep breath, inhaling and exhaling. We're going to start with the first nostril. Let's go ahead and come up here to our little picture so we know what we're working with. Okay. And we're going to start with the right side of the nostril, which is the Ida. Go ahead and close that nostril. You're going to take a nice deep breath. Oh, and before I begin here, make sure you blow your nose because sometimes in my classes, people are struggling. And it's because they haven't blowed their nose. They have very stuffy noses. You can't even breathe. That tells you the level of dormant state that you're in. Okay. So minute, blow your nose, come back. Okay. So great. You're nice and open. Go ahead and close the right nostril. So this is the Ida. And you're going to inhale through the Pingala. Inhale deeply. And when you inhale, remember that your belly is being expanded with every inhale. Okay, so you're going to inhale into the solar plexus. Inhale, 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 7 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to close both nostrils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale out of the Pingala now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And with every inhale and exhale, the communication is going in down to the center of the body. You are expanding the solar plexus and contracting the solar plexus. All the way in, all the way out. Okay, so let's continue inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're counting to 7 because we are activating the 7 major energy centers of the body. With your mind, with your intention, focus that with every inhale, you are accessing and working these centers of the body. The root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye. We're waking it up. We are unifying the breath within the center meridian. Close both nostrils, hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through the next nostril. Okay, we're alternating nostrils. You're inhaling through the Ida, closing, exhaling through the Pingala. You're inhaling through the Pingala, closing, exhaling through the Ida. Got it? Okay, let's keep going. Inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Open. Other side. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same one. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold for 7 and exhale for 7 out the other side. Okay. So now you understand the breath. I'm going to add one more part to this exercise that is really powerful. Okay. And this exercise is something that I want you to do in the morning. The first thing you wake up, this is part of our alchemical toolbox that we're going to utilize every single day. Now, when you are inhaling and you inhale into the body, okay, 7 counts, while you are holding your breath for 7, closing both nostrils, you are going to expand and contract the solar plexus. Okay. The movement of contraction of expansion of the solar plexus is beginning to activate this lower dantian, training the center of empowerment because you are working with life force, pumping the life force into the muscles, into the organs, and utilizing the psoas to help you to awaken that center of energy. It is a purification process. It's an incredible process to do first thing in the morning that will balance both hemispheres of your brain as well as the two sides of the body. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Inhale, hold, in, out, in, out, in, out for 7 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so as you can see, my entire body is moving because I am using my stomach muscles, my abdomen muscles to expand and contract. Okay, with practice, so those of you that are yogis, you understand that your tummy will go all the way to the very back of the spine, especially when before you've eaten breakfast in the morning, first thing you get up to allow yourself to move that life force that is dormant in that lower house. Okay, so after you're done with the pumping, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we're going to exhale out of the other nostril. Exhale, and you're going to inhale through that same nostril again, hold 7, pump 7, exhale. Okay, so this is the exercise, my loves. And I want you guys to do this 7 times. We're using the number 7 every single time with our exercise. Every single morning in addition to your meditation. Okay, make yourself some time that you are going to create this powerful technique in which you can really begin to activate the powerhouse of empowerment in your physical body. Okay. All right, my love. So I'm going to come into the chat right now. That basically concludes our class for today. All of these slides are available for you on the course material, as always. You guys can access it there. And I'm going to go into the chat to see if we have any questions. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments. You guys are amazing. Kevin, yeah, there are many more breathing techniques that I will be putting there. Anders says, interesting, my nostrils cleared up now when I tried the left nostril to right brain. Right, that's right, Anders. So keep that practice going and you will see how much this contributes to your grounding, a really awesome grounding in the morning. Love this one. Yes, thank you so much. So Kevin says, speaking of morning, even evening routines, I have found that it is important to create routines that are resonant with me. What kinds of routines do you do, if anything? You know, I was thinking about doing a video about my daily routine. Let me know if you want a video of that to share it with you, because I do have a very, very powerful routine that I do every morning, which includes meditation, breathing, qigong, although I don't always get to the qigong because of my schedule, but qigong is a huge element of my daily routine, whether it's in the morning or at some point during the day, in which I work on purifying the runways of life force through my body and clearing. And it also really helps maintain healthy, okay? That means, strengthening my immune system, which is what all of us need at all times. So this breathing exercises, I do different kinds depending on what I need. And anytime you're in stress and anxiety, these are always like really amazing tools that you can also use. Yeah, so let me see what else. What other questions do we have? Meditation is, I cannot live without the meditation. That's number one. And my meditation routine is like literally as soon as I open my eyes, I try not to get out of bed, but if I have to use the restroom, come back, and I meditate for about an hour to 2 hours every morning. Without that, it's just a mess. So I will, yeah, maybe I'll make a video about the routine to share with you and see if it helps inspire or, I don't know, give you guys some ideas. It was taught by Pranayama practitioner that we do in and out when we exhale. It was taught by a Pranayama practitioner that we do the in and out when we exhale. Oh, okay. Dorina, I think that that's another exercise that, yes, I've also done in yogic practices where we use the stomach to pump out the air. That's a different one. It's not one that I'm particularly including in this practice, but if you are taught that in the yogic and pranayama, use it. That's great. That's amazing. And maybe you can tell us if they gave you any instruction on that, you can share what you learned, and maybe we can learn something too. Samantha, I think my team every morning do thought and energy work. Awesome. Do the seven immortals guide you? I'm not sure who the seven immortals are, my love, that you're referring to. But all of these things I have learned and accumulated through my practices throughout my life. Pamela Rose says, thank you, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, San Lazuni. When I have air in my belly, I cannot really contract it much. Right. So you can contract it enough. The idea is that we move the muscles in the body, okay, in order to pump the air out. All right. So Fernando says both clear and awesome. Awesome. Yes, it's very curious what you personally do. Okay, I will share with you. Yoga class. Yeah, yoga class. I don't really teach yoga. I practice yoga. I'm a Qigong instructor, but not a yoga teacher. But I can share some techniques at some point. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Obviously, Geraldine's hair is beautiful when she gets out of bed. Sure. Windhoff breathing technique. Yes, that's also awesome. My parents taught me this when I was young. Me too. All right, guys, I love you guys very much. I hope you have an incredible evening, and hooray, we made it to day 7, you guys. We're going on to day 8 tomorrow. Magic number, magic alignment. So let's get to it. Love, love, love says, Geraldine, I had a dream that my solar plexus was personified and it was upset with me. It was awakening from a deep slumber and roaring at me. I dreamt about my solar plexus twice. Wow, that is an awesome dream. Awesome. I mean, that is so beautiful. So work with that, and let's talk to the solar plexus to make sure that it feels fully empowered at all times. All right. Have a wonderful night. Love you. Good night.